Hi, I'm Dr. Donna Burge, and I'm your professor for Human A&P here at Lord Fairfax, and I wanted to go over a few things with you. There is so much stuff in anatomy and physiology that Blackboard is cram-packed. I never realized that, but it's pretty organized, and I wanted to try to get you going down the correct pathway on that. A few things to tell you up front is that the biggest key to your success is staying up to date. So if you get behind on the exams and on the lab work, I can tell you the only people that ever fail my class are the ones that don't stay up to date. Now, I don't like the exams where you can't take them if you're late, because life happens. And the only penalty that you'll pay for being late on an exam is you're not going to be eligible for the extra credit work. That said, I've had a few people every semester that they think they can come in the last week or so of the class and do all the exams and all the lab work at one time, and no one's ever passed it that way. So my exams can be, I'm not going to use the word tricky, but they can be challenging. I want you to learn from the exams. I've had students that go through and make all A's on my exams, and I've had students that go through and they struggle to pass the exams. I want to give you a little bit of a reassurance that if you do struggle on the exams, I've had people who made nothing higher than a C on the exams because I give lots of them, and because of the homework and the lab work, they still come out with an A or a B. So don't feel like all is lost if you have some bad exam grades. Your final exam has a lot of weight, and it's composed of your previous exam questions. 95% of them are old exam questions. So after you take an exam, what you need to do is look at it, see what you missed, correct it. Sometimes I will be giving you extra credit points to rewrite the exam. You handwrite it and post that to your journal, but I will let you know when that's an option. I fully believe that writing the material over longhand really helps it stick in your mind. That's a trick I learned in my face-to-face classes, and repetition is key. I try to set your homework and your exams up so you can work them several times, but only the first attempt is graded. So your webcams, it's not as complicated as what it sounds. This past summer I taught A&P 1 and 2, and I did not have a single person that had more than one issue with the camera. Every now and then it'll shut down, or I'll get these panicked emails, it quit recording and this sort of thing. I expect you to have trouble possibly with one exam, and this is not a big deal. So the exams are set up where you can only open it once. There's a password on the exam, simply to keep you from accidentally opening it up. You cannot backtrack on the exam. I realize that's a hassle, but it's the only way I can guarantee integrity on the exams, because you're going to be recording yourself taking the exams. You're going to be having the webcam come over your shoulder so I can see your screen, I can see your windows, and I also want you to use a webcam to get close enough to the computer screen at least once to show me the time and the date stamp on there, because I take this very seriously. So again, there's no way for you to open an exam, see any questions, and then go back out and go back. So now that said, again, things happen. Your internet might go down. Blackboard can be hinky. If it shuts you out of an exam accidentally, don't panic. Send me an email and I'll open it back up for you. So it happens to everybody at least once a semester. So what you need to do is go to course documents, and you're going to find at least 3 pages of various instructions from what you need for your specimens per each semester, and also just various. One is actually a list of announcements that I made one summer for my class, and I simply, instead of putting them into 16,000 different announcements, I just simply copied them and compiled them. So please read all that, and read it well. I never mind answering questions, but I hate answering questions that I know the material's there, because it tells me you're not prepared to take this course if you can't go through there and actually absorb information that's online. So I take that pretty seriously. Again, if it's confusing for you or you're not seeing it, by all means, email me. Let's see what else. Course documents, you'll find PowerPoints that you can print out. You can print them out like 6 to a page, use it to go along with the recorded video lectures, and take notes as you go through there. My students who handwrite stuff, they tend to do much better than students who use just highlighters. The nice thing about the recorded lectures is you can pause. I would suggest that you only actually listen to those maybe 15 minutes at a time. Pause, take a break, do something, reflect on what we talked about. The recorded lectures, actually, they take hours and hours to do a 1 or 2 hour recording. Excuse me. Let me mute my phone so this doesn't happen again. And for that reason, I simply have not had time to re-record 29 lectures. So the lectures are based on PowerPoints that are sometimes previous versions. Excuse me. I can tell it's my fault, but getting back to school voice because I haven't talked this much in a while. So you will find a discrepancy sometimes between the material on the PowerPoint versus the actual PowerPoint, because my PowerPoints are always a work in progress. I reorganize slides, I add new slides, I deduct slides, etc. So I know it's annoying to you, and I understand that, but until I get 300 free hours in my life to sit down and re-record these, it is what it is. So again, my exams come from the written PowerPoints that are in your course documents. So when I write an exam, I sit there, I print those things out, and I go down them and I find questions to write. I do add homework questions in there. There are a few chapters that I use a lot, and then there's most chapters I just use a few. I make it worth your while to do your homework beforehand. Every now and then you'll find homework questions that don't reflect anything from the lecture. I do that for a reason, because I want you, it's just material I want to expose you to. It's things I think you should see. So it's not that I'm being random, but it's like, oh, well, yeah, look up that. So book-wise, I did attach to most of the chapters a bare minimum of stuff from the Open Education Resource, the OpenStacksCollege.org. And that, again, it's a bare minimum. You have at your fingertips with a computer more information than you can ever possibly get from a $300 textbook. Feel free to buy a used textbook off Amazon or eBay, or there's a new website I just recently found, Chegg, CHEGG.com. And I just rented 3 old anatomy textbooks to peruse, to write test questions for an internet company that I'm dealing with. And I paid $70 for all 3, shipping and all. So if you like to have a written hard copy book, by all means, pick one up. The Martini book, which is the Pearson product, students never like. It's very dense. It's overly detailed. The Tutura book seems to be a little bit more popular. SLAD and Marieb, any of those textbooks are fine because the material is 99% the same. I quit dealing with these textbooks because they kept changing the edition. They just put a new picture on the cover, reorganize it, and every 5 years, and they were basically trying to get you not to be able to use a used book, and I don't like that concept. So also YouTube is a great resource. Khan Academy's KHAN Academy. They explain everything from meiosis and mitosis, urine production, all these different, it's amazing what you can find online. YouTube, you can find, if I don't explain something very well, then by all means you can find 100 versions of different lectures with the same topic. So I expect you to go through there and dig until you really understand the material. The way not to do this course is to take the PowerPoints and memorize what's on the slide. That's a guaranteed no-go, because I will be asking you some clinical questions, And so I expect you to be able to take the information and absorb it, and so if I turn it around in a different direction, you can still answer the question. So my exams are designed to make you think, and usually after I let the students see the answers on the exam, they're like, oh yeah, I see that now. So, so you have the course documents, you have the journal, and the journal is going to be basically your lab. That's where you're going to be posting photos of your dissections. Please make sure you include the first photo for your dissection, really for all your labs, needs to include your photo ID. College ID is fine. Make sure you label your dissections. You should keep all these for future reference. If you ever have a college that questions the fact that you took an online class, you can say, look, I did more work in this lab than my face-to-face students would have done. Make sure you label your dissections. I cannot give you full credit for a dissection if you show me pictures of something cut up but there's no labels. I don't care if you put little flags in it with pins, toothpicks. I don't care if you lay it out on a paper towel and, say pancreas, spleen, whatever. But just make sure you've labeled it in some way. I've had students that have done a beautiful job and they'll actually make a PowerPoint presentation out of it and use Microsoft Paint to label it. That's fine. You will have some labs that require you to have some eggs, and one I think for 141 you need eggs. There's one you need chicken legs. You need things like bleach, syrup, distilled water for one. Kitchen supplies basically. Same thing for 142. I have what I call a spit lab. And also for 142, you'll be getting, you'll need to send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to send you your analysis supplies. So make sure you look ahead on the labs to make sure there's not something you're missing. Sometimes a lab is simply drawing. I might have you draw a brain, or I might have you draw a kidney. Sometimes it'll just be making a list. So it's not busy work,